Okay, guys, I finally saw a new movie in the theater. I've been reviewing some movies for you guys. Me and Daddy Kuma reviewed Scoob back in May. But I mean, that's really been it. There's been like no new movies. I've reviewed a couple of retro movies, but there's been nothing new coming out. But in New Jersey, movie theaters have finally opened, and I just saw the New Mutants yesterday. I will admit I haven't been to a theater since March 7th when the Impractical Joker. I think I saw the Impractical Joker's movie. And that was the last time I went to a movie theater. The last time I reviewed a movie that I saw in the movie theater was with Sonic in February. So I have been dying to see a new movie in the theater. So I saw New Mutants, and there was absolutely nobody there. I went to a theater. I'm in Wildwood right now. I'm on a vacation right now. So I went to a theater. I saw New Mutants. I'm going to put the picture up right here. Me and my father went. There was absolutely nobody in the theater. But it was still really cool that I got to see a new movie in the theater. So now we can talk about the review. So I would probably never saw this movie if nothing else was out right now. From the trailers, I think it looked terrible. There was nothing that looked convincing to me about it. But after seeing it, I will admit, since I went in with such low expectations, I actually kind of enjoyed the movie. It's not great or anything. It's really not even good. But compared to what I thought it was going to be like, it is nowhere near as bad as it could have been. Which is weird because critics are actually hating on this movie. It's got a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. But, I mean, I thought Dark Phoenix, Fantastic, and maybe even Apocalypse, I thought pretty much all of those were worse than this. And this was okay. I think because I went in with such low expectations, I actually ended up kind of enjoying it. Now, what I really liked about the movie was number one was the cast. Actually, the cast is great in this all around. So you really only follow 5 characters throughout the whole movie, and pretty much all of them are great. They all do a good job. A couple of them, I will admit, Charlie Heaton has like a weird accent, and it really wasn't that convincing. Probably because I'm used to hearing him on Stranger Things. It was very weird to hear him like have like I think it was a British accent, and it was just weird to hear him have that accent. But Anya Taylor-Joy does an accent also, and hers is a lot better. She was actually probably the best character in the whole movie, being like very crazy, and you kind of felt like she was gonna go evil at one point, and you kind of feel that throughout the whole movie. So hers, I thought she was the best character in the whole movie. I will also say too, the second best thing was the concept. I couldn't tell it from the trailers, but the concept's actually really cool. It's kind of like a horror version of the Breakfast Club that has kind of like these 5 teenagers meet each other instead of like a detention in Breakfast Club. It's in a lab or whatever they call it, a hospital. It doesn't even look like a hospital, but and they have to relate. They have to learn about each other, but also they want to escape because like it's getting crazy and all these horror elements in it. So I thought the concept was very cool. The third best thing was the first 2 acts. It starts off a little bit slow, but the first 2 acts are actually pretty good. Forgettable, but they're actually pretty good. Now on to what I'm going to say that's bad. So like I said, the first 2 acts are actually entertaining, and that's because they're mostly a horror. The first 2 acts feel more like a horror movie, and not a superhero movie. There's still superhero elements in it, but they felt more like a horror movie to me. But the second, in the third act, when they have to fight, and you've probably seen this in the trailer, so I can say what it is, when they have to fight a demon bear. And to be fair with you guys, I wanted to see a demon bear throughout the whole movie. They like send up the whole movie. They finally show them like, yes, let's go. But the second that thing shows up on screen, this movie crumbles, and I mean that. It's maybe not even the last 20 minutes of the movie, but the last 20 minutes of the movie, this movie, oh my god, it jumps all over the place. That you're in one location, they're going to another. They're going. I think what it was character was like going through portals, and they were going to other. It was a mess, and this movie could have been great if the last 20 minutes weren't so just. Oh, it was so. It had such potential the first 2 acts. And I was like, this is kind of could be like a cult classic I could see in the future, a cult film. But then the third act, I was just like, oh, it's so jumbled, and it goes all over the place. It goes from one location. Sorry, I just shook the camera. It goes from one location to another, and they all make it feel like it's still in the same location, but they're going to other. it was, oh boy. I will say, I don't think it was actually other locations. I think it was something with like seeing different. I forget what the third act was such a mess. But overall, I will say the movie is not as bad as you think it would be. I will say the third act was a mess, but the first two acts are actually pretty promising for the most part. They're actually pretty entertaining, and the entire cast is great. I want to talk about a spoiler, but I'm going to wait until I give my score because there's a spoiler that I want to talk about because I was like, that's actually pretty cool. So if you're not going to see the movie, you can watch this. You can hear about the spoiler. It's something they connected to another movie, but I'm not going to talk about that. I'm just going to talk about. I'm just going to give you guys the score real quick. So overall, the movie was pretty fun. Like I said, first two acts were entertaining but forgettable. Third act was just all over the place. But overall, it was okay. It was kind of had fun with it. So I'm going to give the New Mutants a 5 out of 10. Okay, so now I want to talk about the thing. When I saw this movie, I was like, wait a minute. So there's a scene. Some of you guys might consider this to be a spoiler, but there's a scene where the whole time they were in this lab, I was thinking like this hospital thing. I'm like, wait a minute. There was a hospital in Logan, the movie Logan, where all these kids were being like tortured and stuff like that. And I was like, that's kind of like what this hospital is. So are they the same hospital? They do reveal there's a. They don't say it directly, but there's a flashback scene. Somebody gets into somebody else's head, and they see a flashback of these kids being tested on and like being used as weapons. And the clips that they show were actually from Logan. I looked it up at the when I got out of the movie. There's a scene in Logan where all these kids are being tested on, and it's the exact shot from this movie. One of the kids uses like I think it was like vibration. The kid Charlie Heaton plays is like knocking dummies down. That is actually the exact same shot from Logan. There's a scene in Logan, and I could show it to you guys right now while I'm talking about it. He knocks these dummies down, and that was actually in New Mutants, and they kind of reveal that like that kid in the scene from Logan is actually Charlie Heaton's character in this movie as a young kid. So that was very cool. I didn't know they were going to do something like that. I thought it was going to be more standalone. It is very standalone, but they kind of do tie it in with that, and I thought that was very cool. I was not actually expecting that. So overall, what did you guys think of New Mutants? If you saw it, I'm pretty sure not a lot of you have seen it because, I mean, it kind of bombed last week and didn't do too bad for a quarantine movie, but like now, I think it like dropped like 75%. I think it's doing really bad. I'm interested to see how Tenet does money wise this weekend. I think that could bring ticket sales up because that's a movie that people are excited for. I'm hoping Wonder Woman 84 is going to come out. I heard might be coming out in October, but I heard now they might push it. So I want to hear what you guys think. If you saw New Mutants, if you're one of the very few people who saw it, let me know what you thought. Okay, I'll see you guys next time.